What's good? I told you guys we had that heat in my James Brown voice, man. Y'all know what it is. It's the Boxing Clinic and more. Talking that real boxing ish. Your boy CJ Goodfellow. Y'all know what it is. It's one time for the one time. Ain't gonna stop our grind, man. I told you we had a slow start in the morning. We're gonna have a strong finish through the day. We gonna, in my TNT Kenny the Jet Smith voice, we gonna run through the tape. But listen to Blood. Boxing Returns. Go subscribe to the brother right there. OG, LDBC OG, was talking about Mayweather Day and how he didn't fight black fighters. And wanted to touch on that, man. I kind of alluded to it before. I kind of touched on it, but I never really dedicated a video to it, man. And, you know, a lot of the Mayweather's a big topic of the conversation today in the boxing community because of the hating ass shit he continues to say about Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua being a hypocrite. So, I guess it's open season today. So, I'm not even going to touch on that. I'm not going to piggyback off a Ticket. Shout out to Ticket TV one time for the one time. I'm not going to copy off of Blood or follow up their videos of Blue Blood Sports. That's my brother. That's becoming one of my favorite channels, quick, fast, and in a hurry, man. Shout out to Blue Blood Sports. Come out to Brooklyn in August. Maybe I can link up with Blue Blood, man. I was out there in April for the Broner-Vargas fight. So, August, I'm trying to get out there for the Sean Porter and Danny Garcia fight. Want to get a date, either August, September. So shout out to Blue Blood Sports one time for the one time, man. Homie showing much love, and I got much respect for him. But, you know, Blood spoke on how Mayweather ain't fight black fighters, and he didn't give fighters that opportunity. And like Triple H 1200 called me out on some shit today, man. Shout out to the Triple H 1200, man. Definitely, you know, one of those subscribers, man, from the beginning. Shout out to the homie Dolomite, one of my first subscribers. Man, I ain't had nobody. It was just me and him in the comment section some days, dog. Just remember, man, you know, looking back at it when I ain't had much and, you know, had a few subscribers, and that was good enough at the time. But because obviously we grew to this point, and a lot of people don't know how difficult it is to grow a channel to this point, especially if you actually commenting and rebutting to the comments, and that's a totally different animal, man. But yeah, he said, man, watch Manny Pacquiao be required to fight Terrence Crawford when Floyd Mayweather then passed the torch to Keith Thurman and the rest of them guys, and he right. You know, he fought Chop Corley. He really wasn't no threat. He fought Zab Judah after he came off a loss to Carlos Baldomir. He fought Shane Mosley. I mean, you know, some people say older Shane, but he was coming off looking good, beating the piss out of Antonio Marito, excuse me. But Floyd ain't never wanted nobody to one-up him. And I think that's the issue about him fighting some of these black fighters or fighters of darker skin or melanin in their skin. You know what I'm saying? He ain't never wanted nobody to one-up him, man. And he knows that Deontay Wilder is about to do something that could change the course of boxing history and make him a footnote more than a chapter in boxing history, or give him a smaller chapter, because if Deontay Wilder breaks 50-0, he beats down AJ, he can get Fury in there. He already beat Ortiz and reigned for a minute. And then if he go down to cruiserweight and reign down there, I mean, his accomplishments is going to be way better than what Floyd did at the end of the day. Looking back at history, you seldom see people in history say, "Oh, that nigga he ain't fighting nobody." He ain't now really go through your resume with a comb and try to brush all the way through it. You don't really get that in boxing. People forget Sugar Ray Leonard really brought the business side to boxing and kind of was the first prima donna in boxing and kind of laid the groundwork. But you rarely hear that about his legacy. His legacy is about how he beat Wilfredo Benitez, the youngest champion of all time, I believe. How he beat Tommy Hearns, how he beat Roberto Duran, lost and made him quit. You hear about that stuff more than anything, and Floyd knows that. Floyd's biggest gripe with Muhammad Ali, well, he didn't move up in weight and win belts. I mean, he's a fucking heavyweight, man. You know, he's a heavyweight. He dominated the best division out there. Like Blood Slave, them smaller weight classes was for smaller men. You know, the heavyweight is the pinnacle. If you could dominate heavyweight and reign over a good heavyweight division in the era, you know, that trumps anything a little man can do or a smaller man can do. Heavyweight is the point, but obviously he skipped Austin Trout, and a lot of people forget that. When Austin Trout beat Canelo, and it was word if Trout beat Canelo, Floyd wasn't interested in fighting Austin Trout. And then it was word, even after he beat Cotto, he wasn't interested in fighting Austin Trout. You know, was Austin Trout a big threat to him? No. At the end of the day, he was a threat because he was a black fighter that was slick and that can box and stuff of that nature. But he didn't want to fight Austin Trout because he didn't want to give brothers that opportunity, man. It wasn't just the fact that I did say in the past that these dudes didn't have no fan bases and nothing like that. It was the fact that he didn't want to give nobody a color of opportunity to fight him so they could possibly beat him or surpass him. You hear that all the time when people say, well, I think Amir Khan was quick on his feet and he had fast hands, and that made Floyd afraid. Floyd was reluctant and gun-shy to fight Amir Khan. That could be the issue with a lot of black fighters. Because a lot of the Mexican and Hispanic fighters and the fighters that he did fight, especially after he beat Oscar De La Hoya, them motherfuckers weren't athletic. They wasn't slick. How many slick fighters can you really count that Floyd Mayweather fought that was undefeated and that was on top of their game? It ain't too many fucking slick fighters. They all had that Mexican style or they had a different style. They wasn't fast or athletic than him. Floyd has never fought anybody that's comparable athletic, that's an athlete to him other than Zab Judah. At the time, Zab Judah still was fast. He hit Floyd on the chin and Floyd touched the glove, touched the canvas, but Floyd had a different game plan with Zab Judah. The game plan was to walk Zab Judah down, and he's a front runner. He was gonna get tired, and that's what happened. Then he kind of, the shit in the ring happened, because Zab took a cheap shot at Floyd. Even Paul Williams. A lot of people wanted to see Paul Williams get an opportunity, but social media really wasn't that big at the time, and there wasn't no boxing community on YouTube, I don't believe. And people silently wanted to see Floyd take on Paul Williams and Manny Pacquiao. And Floyd swerved him like the plague. Him and Antonio Margarito at the time. That's before we knew Antonio Margarito was doing some cheating shit. He wasn't trying to give Paul Williams no opportunity. Floyd Mayweather won the guy that ran to the fire. He didn't run to the competition. He ain't like Earl Spence. He didn't want all the smoke, especially after he beat Oscar De La Hoya. When he was young, he wanted some smoke. He wanted to fight this guy, that guy. He wanted to fight a young Shane Mosley. I give him a pass, but when he got on top, he never returned the favor. He never changed the perception. He was a like-minded individual. So when he got on top, he acted like everybody else that he felt didn't give him an opportunity when he was trying to get an opportunity to be on top. He ain't trying to fight Sean Porter neither. Sean Porter was a brother that was training in his gym. He didn't try to give him an opportunity. Sean Porter was the IBF champion while he was still at the welterweight division. He didn't try to give him a shot neither. So, I see this young guy, he in my gym every day, he support me. I mean, how about give him an opportunity? Never. Arizona Law was as mandatory as well, too. Paid the sanction bills off, didn't give him a motherfucking opportunity. And he went through this. He went through a hell of a struggle. Canelo gave Lara an opportunity before Floyd did. Keith Thurman was another guy. He was the mandatory for Floyd. And they told him he couldn't touch him because Floyd was the super champion. And you see Keith Thurman keeping the same thing, keeping the motherfucking, he keeping the cycle going, acting like a prima donna. Not giving other guys opportunities. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people would love to see Floyd fight Keith Thurman. Contrary to what you believe, if Keith had a chance or not, it was something Floyd hadn't fought yet. A young, undefeated, hungry, black fighter with some speed and some athletic ability. We didn't see Floyd check that off on his motherfucking, on his checklist in his career. He didn't fight no undefeated black fighter that has some speed or has some ability that was slick. He swerved all of them. And why? I think it was the fact that they was competitive. I understand that. They was the fact that they could fight. But it was the fact that he didn't want to give nobody an opportunity to be better than him, man. And it's the same narrative today. Floyd don't want nobody to be better than him. That's why he hating on Deontay Wilder. That's why Tank said he hating on him. That's why you see all them dudes at the Mayweather gym say they hating on, Floyd don't want to see us better than him. That's exactly right. Everything's about Floyd. So if he got beat by one of these fighters, then they had a higher chance of beating him, a lot of them, than a Robert Guerrero, then a Canelo Alvarez, because they brought something different. They wasn't stiff. They wasn't slow-footed. They was quick. They had a lot of these guys have athletic ability. They had defense just like Floyd. There was a higher chance, believe it or not, of them beating him in his mind. He didn't want to face no style like him. He didn't want to face a fighter that was athletic like him. He didn't want to fight a defensive fighter like Eric Lyon like him. He didn't want to fight a young, hungry lion that was tenacious and that was ferocious, that didn't give a shit like Sean Porter coming down from 154 to 147. He didn't want to fight a tall, lanky Paul Williams because he didn't know how to beat him. He didn't know how to get to him. There was a high chance that Paul Williams would have been a problem for him. He didn't want to fight Keith Thurman. No matter how much Keith Thurman disrespected him, he tried to throw Earl Spence as his bodyguard. He didn't want to fight him because he knew Keith Thurman had something that he hadn't fought before. Even though Keith Thurman telegraphed his punches and wind up, he still had a lot of speed, power, and punching, and he had feet. He didn't want to fight an Austin Trout because he knew Austin Trout was a solid fighter. Even though most people would agree he would have dominated Austin Trout, he wasn't even looking that man's way. Yeah, he fought an Andre Berto that was old and stiff, who didn't live up to expectations. Was one of the major reasons why HBO broke the pact with Al Haymon and sent his ass gone. They invested so much money into Andre Berto, and when he didn't fucking materialize to the guy he was supposed to be out the Olympics, they say, man, Al Haymon, we tired of wasting that money on your fighters like that, man. Andre Berto was the motherfucking a camel that broke the hump, man. Whatever you want to say. He was the reason why HBO was like, man, Al, we tired of wasting money into your fighters. Andre Berto was. They wasted a lot of money on Andre Berto, and he didn't materialize. And Floyd wanted to fight him so bad because Andre Berto was closer to Al Haymon than him, believe it or not. Andre Berto was one of the first 3 fighters. Danny Jacobs was another guy that Al Haymon picked up out the Olympics to kind of, really right that ship. You know what I'm saying? That was his first young guy out the Olympics. You can look up the interview with Andre Berto talking about it. Floyd Mayweather was jealous of another man's relationship with Al Haymon and Andre Berto. And then they said they allegedly was fighting over a girl. This nigga's almost a fucking billionaire. He fighting with a millionaire or multi-millionaire over a female. That just shows you, he got that little man, short man complex personality. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest to ever do it. But guess what? His fucking resume isn't impeccable. His personality as a man isn't impeccable. And he got a lot of shit to answer for. I would love to see somebody say, why you didn't fight these black fighters? Or some of them. Because he didn't look no brother's way. Even on the way out, I felt that he should have gave Earl Spence, Broner, or fucking Terrence Crawford at one point in their careers an opportunity to cross over and fight him. To kind of, extend the leaf and say, hey, I'll give you an opportunity to get this exposure. He never tried to pass the torch because he never wanted to pass the torch. He wanted to say he TB till he died. But guess what, Floyd? Records are meant to be broken, fool. Somebody going to come past you and surpass you. They're going to do more than you did. Real shit. And it's just the way it is. You can't be the greatest forever. You got to pass the torch at some point. It's going to be somebody in this sport that's going to be better than you. It's somebody that eventually is going to be better than LeBron and Michael Jordan. It's going to be better people. And they're going to do better than you. They're not going to have the same mindset as you. They're going to put all on the line, balls to the walls, and they're going to complete the mission. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, it's no excuses why he didn't give at least 1 or 2 of these guys a shot. Andre Berto, come on, man. You could have got Keith Thurman a shot. You know what I'm saying? You could have went up and gave Lara a shot, but we know he didn't want that smoke, man. Like I said, this dude is getting exposed. He been suspect. A lot of the brothers just want to cover for him because of the Pacquiao argument and the sake of the argument. But come on, man, we got to put truth on this, man. He didn't want to fight these guys because it was a good chance they could beat him. After he got stuck in his ways with fighting Oscar, he only fought pretty much one type of fighter. It was limited fighters in the athletic ability, limited fighters that wasn't slick, limited fighters who didn't have his feet. He said, well, Mexicans sold on May 5th and September 15th. Okay, what about Andre Berto? You still fought him. What was that, September you fought him? Robert Guerrero wasn't, never as big as Keith Thurman was at the time, in my opinion. You still fought him. But Donald wasn't Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Give somebody else a shot, man. But he didn't want to give nobody else a shot because he didn't want nobody to beat him up or be better than him or be compared or be controversial. So, y'all know what it is, man. Just speaking on some truth. It's TBC and more. Don't forget to check the links in the description. PayPal link if you want to donate. Help us do what we got to do. Get the channel up and running, website, traveling to these fights and stuff of that nature. Also the Instagram, Facebook link, and Twitter links in the description. Follow us on there. We do some good work on there as well. But y'all know what it is. It's your boy CJ Goodfella, TBC, and more. Don't forget to share and subscribe, man. Hit